the answer to life, the universe, and everything, plus 100.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a mighty episode 142 of Nerd Generations. As always, I am one of your illustrious hosts, Steve Taylor, along with the lovely Al Judson. Hello, sir.
The things I do for you people to make you happy, to be your dancing monkey. I just go back to that picture Steve draws while he's out in France of him being a dancing monkey for the troops.
Yeah.
Hello, friends and enemies.
I just want to say that you're giving me a guff because it was me that really pushed, and it's completely. I deserve it.
See, no, I'm re-aiming the guns of Navarone out to the enemies and any friends that are enjoying the Schadenfreude of my life.
That is
so.
Nice.
The guns of Navarone were 100% pointed at you, and then we talked, and I'm like, no. I
just love that you're pointing your guns at me, and I'm sitting here petting your dog as if I was Dr. Evil petting his cat.
Yeah.
Mr. Wiggles or Biggles?
Mr. Biggles.
Mr. Biggles. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting episode, folks, because it's got some positive and it's got a whole bunch of negative. But you know what? The negative tends to bring out the best in us.
Yes.
So we are going to have a really rollicking episode. So once again, episode 142. It means there are 141 previous episodes of Pure Gold. So please go back and listen to our back catalog, especially if you're just listening to us for the first time. We are very opinionated, and a lot of times, heck, I'm going to say it most of the times, our opinions are 100% correct. You can find us at nerdpodgen.com. Go there. There are links to pretty much everything about us except for Apple Podcasts because it's almost impossible to put a link up for them. But there's a link to Spotify, a link to YouTube. There's a link to Al's,
JudsomStudios.work.
JudsomStudios.work at the
Bronx Division.
Bronx Division, that's right. And there's, little blurbs about us, kind of getting to know, see little things we do. But then please go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Once again, youtube.com, NerdPod Generations. Make sure you subscribe to either the podcast or the YouTube channel. Leave us feedback, leave us likes, dislikes, whatever. Just subscribe and become part of our family. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about, though. What's that?
One big family.
One big happy family that loves nerdom.
This is definitely not a family reunion where you go and you're like, God, there's like 6 topics I don't want to bring up. And then your uncle's like, so how do you feel about Y and Z? That's
what we do. And then we talk about Spider-Man Homecoming sometimes. All right, so we started every show, and we have a packed show today. We started every show, though, with what I've been watching, playing, reading.
We actually have 3 topics, which we haven't had in a while.
I know, and it's unfortunate.
We've been on such a positivity kick.
We're going to nail that show this week. I am going to start super positive, though, because I've been dying to talk about this.
Let's spend the last few gill of positivity that we have.
Thank you.
All my Final Fantasy fans.
My last positivity thing will link our 2 Watch Play Reads, because we will talk about a certain show we're both excited about. But this one, I'm very happy to announce Doctor Who's back on the right track.
You like the new episodes?
So I haven't watched the one that just came out. My wife and I watched 3, 4, and 5. Episode 6 just came out. We have not watched it yet, but 3, 4, and 5. Especially 3, which I had mentioned. I was kind of excited because Stephen Moffat wrote it. Holy crap, was it amazing. And it was classic Doctor Who. It got away from any new stuff they're trying to push. It was the Doctor and Ruby land on a planet. Ruby is his new companion. It's a war planet. I love, once again, the people who are fighting in the war are clergy. They love that Doctor. And I love that because it is such an allegory, and I love it.
No one likes to start a war like the church.
No, not at all. And so you have that in this, and then the show is also based around them showing negativity towards like the industrial war complex, which is awesome.
Yeah,
like they do it in a really intelligent way. But it's a tense episode. It only has a few people in it. It's not a ton of people. It takes place in really one area. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Like truly, my wife, when we were done, we're like, holy shit. Like, that felt like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It was so good.
That's good to hear.
Unbelievable. So it's called Boom, was that one.
It's always the one-word titles with Moffat.
Yeah.
He always has the one-word title. I guess Don't Blink is technically 2 words, but
that's still...
It's one sentiment.
It's so goddamn good. And then we go on to 73 Yards, which is a really good episode that doesn't quite stick the landing. It's one that really revolves around Ruby, and the Doctor kind of disappears in the beginning of it.
Okay.
And it's a really interesting story, and it's kind of got like horror elements. and it's an interesting like layout, and it takes like you over decades, but then it kind of has a very confusing ending that doesn't really explain a lot. So it's like I still give it high marks because it was a very interesting, unique story. But it just didn't really stick the landing. Yeah. So like it's a where the last episode would be a solid A for me. This one is a solid B that easily could have been an A if they would have just tied a little more of the ending together. Like I can kind of get what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I was a little disappointed by the ending.
Yeah.
Then we rolled into Dot and Bubble. Holy shit. This is a great episode.
That's good.
Do you remember, it was one of the first episodes with the Weeping Angels. The one where the doctor's not actually in it. He's on the TV.
This is Don't Blink.
This is the same type of thing, but there's this bubbled society, and it's locked down, and the Doctor and Ruby are on the outside of it, and they can't get in, but they know there's something wrong. And everyone in this society, the Dot and Bubble is, they have this little dot that they say, dot up, it goes in the air and bubble, and it puts like a social media bubble around their head. Oh. And they have all of their friends in front of them, and like when they walk, they never put when they're awake, they never put the bubble down. And when they walk, a directional tells them where to go.
Oh.
And there are these creatures that come to the planet, and they start eating people. Mm-hmm. But since they can't see outside the bubble, they don't know anything's going on around them. And no one wants to put their bubble down. But all of a sudden, their friends start like going offline on their thing.
Yeah.
And it has one of the most shocking moments I've seen in a Doctor Who, where one of the characters that you're kind of, at first you hate her guts, and then you're kind of rooting for her, she does something where you're like, oh, I want her dead so bad. Like, I looked at Audrey, I'm like, holy shit. She's like, I know.
She's got to die now.
Did she just do this?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. Like, I don't want to give away what it is, but you're like, God damn.
Wow.
And it also kind of has the same thing with the last one, where you kind of get an explanation for why things turn out in the episode, why things happen throughout the episode, but it's not as cut and dry as you would kind of like it to be.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of gray area where you're trying to figure out, okay, then how exactly did this come about?
Yeah.
But the episode itself was very much a classic Creature Doctor Who. It was really good. It was very entertaining. And it kind of also deals with racism a little bit.
Okay.
This is the first time that the Doctor has like a group of people that shun him because he's black. They're like, oh, we got what we needed out of you, but now that we think we don't need you anymore, you just are not even allowed to be near us. And like his reaction to, he's so frustrated because all he wants to do is save them, but their ignorance is keeping that from happening. And his frustration, like, I think the one doctor of this new doctor, the one little thing about him that I'm starting to get used to is when he gets frustrated or scared or angry, he actually tears up and cries.
That's good.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
But it kind of played, I don't know, it almost felt pigeonholed in some episodes, but at the end, when he's so frustrated, tears are streaming down his face, you're like, oh, that's heavy.
Yeah. So
it was like, that one, I'm even though it doesn't necessarily tie things together like the last one, the same issue I have with the last one, I still give this one an A, because you're going to watch it and be like, fuck. And once again, when the thing happens, you're going to be like, God damn, I want her so dead. Like, please die right now because it's so bad. But it was so good. Like, after we watched these 3 episodes, it made the first 3, and I'm including the Christmas episode and then the first 2 of the new season.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense that those existed.
Because they haven't gone back to why the Doctor is fearful of things. And
it didn't go back to that, but it's like, it also, those first three really didn't feel like Doctor Who, or they were just so poorly done that even if you felt a little like it was the Doctor, it's like, yeah, but this is just a terrible, like the Space Babies and the musical episode, which had, it was all right, but it was still, it was kind of dumb. And these three, like the last two that I talked about, were written by Russell T Davies. So it's like, were you just like holding it in until after Moffat, and then you saw Moffat's and you're like, fuck, I better step it up, because they got so much better after Moffat's.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the same guy wrote the last three. So it's like, or actually he also wrote all the David Tennant ones, which were still okay. Not great, but they were okay.
I thought you meant the David Tennant seasons.
No.
I was
the two David Tennant.
You back off that high horse right now.
No, David Tennant seasons are best. Man, and the coming attraction I saw for Rogue, which is the one that came out yesterday, it seems also very classic Doctor Who, because like they even say in the trailer, they land in like a Bridgerton type situation. And she's like, oh, this is like Bridgerton. And she says it. And then these aristocrats walk in and they're huge bird people. And I'm like, oh, that's so Doctor Who. So now I can't wait to watch that episode.
Yeah.
Especially now that I'm like back into it.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how happy we are, my wife and I, because like we are so massive into Doctor Who. And we were so let down by the Jodie Whittaker seasons, as much as we still watched every one of them. We were so let down by kind of how they were changing things. And then we were so let down by the beginning of this that we were craving good Doctor Who.
Yeah.
We finally fucking got it.
Yeah.
And it was just such... The joy we felt with the release of Joy was so great.
And that's the thing, is that this is what I kept on finding myself repeating this morning as we were watching The Acolyte. So we're covering The Acolyte and Madam Web. It's a hell of a show, kids. Yeah. While I was watching The Acolyte this morning, I just kept on saying to Kelly, I want this to be good. I want this to succeed. I'm so tired of wanting.
Yes.
I want these fuckers to just get it done. Make the good things so I can be excited for you, because I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
The comparison I made was watching if like the Bills came out and they made spectacular catches, but they were always out of bounds. And the receivers were like, but we're trying our best. Why aren't people getting excited about how good we look? Yeah. Okay. No, I want it to work.
Yeah.
It needs to be in bounds. There's rules and regulations to this shit.
Yeah,
it has to be in bounds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, I want something to be good. I am tired of wanting them to get there. I want them to just get there.
It was such a release and a relief. To, just like you're saying, just to know that, oh my God.
Yeah.
Something I love was actually done properly. And you know what? I'll be honest, and I'm kind of disappointed because I can't remember if they said this next season Ruby, who's the companion, isn't in it, or if she's splitting time with another companion.
They mentioned that they're bringing on another companion. I do remember that.
I just can't remember if they're like swapping around or not. Because she has become so good as a companion, because they're at first they kind of wrote her as this, I don't want to say ditzy, but she's just pretty blonde, kind of like early Rose.
I was going to say, it sounds like Rose.
But in these last few episodes, she really has been like the calming force and as smart as the Doctor in a lot of situations. And I love that. She is so great in this show.
Yeah.
And so I really want to see more. Like I'm really excited to see the rest of the season, but after this, I still kind of really want to see more of her, because I was kind of let down by Clara. And even though I liked the first three companions of the Jodie Whittaker era, when the grandpa and I can't remember their names, when the grandpa and his grandson left, and it was just Yaz, and then they brought on it was all right, but it's like, I liked the dynamic of the three of them, like Yaz and the other two in the beginning. But like, I've been kind of let down by companions lately. And then, because even like the end of Capaldi, his companions were okay, but they weren't spectacular.
Yeah.
And she's nailing it. She's so fucking good. And I really want to see her as a companion for at least a couple seasons.
Yeah. Give her a chance to be like a Karen Gillan.
Yeah, like an Amy Pond. Oh, absolutely.
Because like that's one of the things about the David Tennant seasons is I love all three. Well, no. I really like Martha and Donna.
Yes, I agree.
Don't care for Rose and Mickey. one of the things I find frustrating is that we didn't get to spend more time with Martha. Because Martha, as much as I love Donna, and I do love Donna, I feel like Martha gets like the short shift on a lot of things.
Yeah. Martha's awesome.
Martha's amazing.
So great.
And I just love every moment where the doctor comes in and says, I'm the doctor. And Martha says, that's true, but I'm an actual doctor.
An actual doctor.
And it's just like, I love that dynamic. Yeah. And I love the performance and everything that goes into it. And then they turn her into this soldier. And then
her Mickey.
Her punishment is that she has to be with Mickey for the rest of her life. And I'm like, God damn it. That sucks, like, man.
Like a lot of people I know love Rose. And, you know, I've
never liked Rose.
I have minimal affection for Rose. But the difference, like, I'll take what Rose and David Tennant compared to Amy Pond and Matt Smith. What I loved about Amy Pond and Matt Smith, David Tennant and Rose, there was always, they're going to hook up because they both want each other.
Yeah.
Amy Pond and Matt Smith, she wanted him, and he was so terrified and did not want to reciprocate.
I love that scene where he brings her home after like 2 or 3 adventures. And he takes her up to her room, and he's like, "Oh,
and the wedding dress is there.
Look at all this stuff." And then she's like, "We're gonna have sex," and he's like, "Oh, no, we are not going to have sex. I don't know where you got this idea. That is not happening."
That was my favorite. It was so great because he was so awkward about it. It was the best.
Just him rolling over the bed and practically running away. It was just so good.
And that's the thing. The thing I think it's refreshing about this is, since the fact that the actor who plays the doctor is gay in real life, they never try to pull off like there's this pseudo relationship. No, they are literally companions, like the word companions. They are friends. They love each other, but there's no sexual tension. And I love that because I always kind of hated that. Like, there's always this, I think he really likes her, and I think they really... It's like, no, dude, like, that's kind of what I liked about Capaldi. Like, she was repulsed by him.
Yeah.
And he was kind of repulsed by her, and that was awesome, because it's like, okay, because I was so tired of the Tennant stuff, and then even, you know, the Amy and Rory stuff, as much as I love those two, I was kind of getting tired of that, and it's like, I just need, like, I want to watch a Doctor Who where there's no... Hey, someone's gonna fuck in this episode, and there's none of that.
I got tired of it when it became about their divorce, and I was like, "Don't make the pawns get divorced. Come on, don't do this to me."
And then she's like a weird supermodel.
She's a model. Well, she's Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, she really was.
This is the thing. She's Mary Jane Watson.
She was perfect.
And oh god, here's a reference for all of our children listening. So you don't want a Sam and Diane.
Yes, I don't want a Sam and Diane. I want a Sam and Rhea Perlman. What's her name? Carla. I want a Sam and Carla. They will never have any kind of relations with one another, but they love each other and they make fun of each other. And that's what I want. Yeah. And it works so well. Like, I can't wait for you guys to catch up on some of these episodes because, man, these last 3 were so fucking good.
What's the benchmark on Sam and Diane? 25? You think anybody 25 and younger is not going to get that reference?
Oh, much older than that.
You think so?
Because you got to think, that show ended...
I don't even want to say what show it is. I don't even want to say what show it is. I want to make our fans go out and find out what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, because, like, they'll hear that Woody Harrelson was, like, his first thing. They're like, who the hell's Woody Harrelson? I bet some people still... until you say he's Haymitch from...
or Cletus Cassidy.
Or Cletus Cassidy. We're like, oh, yeah,
that guy.
But,
what's his name? Tallahassee.
Oh, yeah, Zombieland. That's right. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then, you know, so Doctor Who, love it. Please go start watching it. Once again, make it through the early episodes to kind of get your feet wet on the whole new Doctor companion relationship and get to know these characters a little bit, and then they really amp it up.
It does take some time. I do remember watching the Matt Smith episode, and as much as I loved that first episode, when he gets really mad at Amy, it was kind of a turnoff for me. I was like, but like, you brought her into this situation. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't even remember what she did. Yeah. And he's just so mad at her. And I'm like, let's slow down just a minute. And we get there. You know, that's the great thing about Matt Smith is that we do get there.
Well, like, I remember the second episode of theirs is fucking spectacular. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that didn't
Well, that's long. What I'm saying is that it's still a great episode. The whale episode is still great, but that moment that he gets so mad that he's like, I never should have brought you. I can't trust you. You suck. And I'm like, whoa, let's take it down like 3 notches here, man.
It's the War Doctor all over again.
Yeah.
So rolling into our bridge between us.
Yes.
Holy shit, I wanted to cry this week because there was the State of Play, which is now, it used to be just video games, and now they're talking about shows and movies and all that, and like that's starting to take over. But luckily because of that, we learned that October 3rd, we are getting Season 3 of The Legend of Vox Machina.
I can't believe it's already coming out. I'm shocked.
Oh my god, I was so happy.
Very frankly shocked. To the point where I'm a little worried. When you find out that an animated thing is coming out faster than you thought, the first thought that I have is, oh, great. And then the second thought I have is, but it's still going to be the same quality, right?
Well, like,
I'm not saying I'm against
not too worried.
I'm happy that it's coming out, and the opener looks fucking bomb, right?
Dude,
I'm so happy about
so
this.
Good.
And it shows us just how far we've come as an audience watching these characters and all these other elements of the show, you know, just how different things have become, while also giving a nice overview of what's going on with the characters and giving us a little peek into the future with what's going on with Pike. So there's a lot of really cool stuff here. I'm really happy about it. I'm just worried because when you rush out stuff, that changes the dynamic of the thing. And so I don't know if they rushed it out. But everything I've ever heard from anybody in animation is this is going to take time.
The thing I'm hopeful for is that this is just one of those things that they had a bunch of storylines for different seasons and that they never stopped animating.
That's what I wondered.
Like they just continuously roll because, I mean, it's been a solid year since the last season, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I want to say the last season came out
I want to say spring
earlier in the year. Yeah. So it'll be like a year and a half. So my hope is they just had the storylines and they just had to do the animation.
That's what I think. Especially since this is all based on Critical Role. Yeah. And I think the Vox Machina, they're on campaign like 4 or 5 at this point. So this story is, you know, they already know. This isn't a Game of Thrones situation where they have to write the story. They know what's going on.
And it's so passionate. Like you can tell they're so passionate about this that I really can't imagine them screwing this up.
I really hope not.
I can't imagine.
But every once in a while something comes along. The real damage of Homecoming is understanding that the things you love can be awful. And what started with Spider-Man 3, where I saw the trailer and I was like, this is going to be amazing. And then I watched and I was like, this isn't too bad. And then I watched it a second time. I was like, this is pretty bad. And then
emo Peter.
I watched I still remember watching Kimmel, and they had the trailer for Homecoming drop, and I was like, oh no. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, God fucking damn it, are you fucking serious? And then we have 3.5 other movies come out in that franchise, and I'm just sitting here like, man, I want this to be good. I'm worried about committing.
The thing they have going for them, opposed to like Homecoming and all that, Amazon has proven one thing: they will let you do whatever the fuck you want. And if you don't believe that, watch The Boys.
Yeah,
they will let you do whatever the fuck you want, and they will leave their hands off as long as it's success or it's Rings of Powers, which is terrible. But obviously, somebody made that nightmare.
I mean, they're spending enough money that the sunk cost value is enough that they're going to keep on making Rings of Power in the hopes that they can make back some of their money.
I mean, they own the property now, so they got to fucking do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this. I really think that it's just gonna like you said, that opening.
It's so
that
good.
Trailer's
it grabs you right by the lapels and shakes you. Like it's so good. I'm so excited about it, and I desperately want it to be good because I love these characters. I love that these voice performers have been given this great platform to introduce us all to them in case you don't have the patience for a long play. Which, like, for me, Critical Role versus D20 is the way that the shows are structured is different. And I just find D20 more accessible than Critical Role. So I really appreciate having this. I'm looking forward desperately to the Mighty Nine show because all I've ever heard from all my D&D friends is that Mighty Nine is even better than Vox Machina. And so I really want this to be good. I really am excited to see it. I just have learned to always keep up one level of armor. You don't take off all your plot armor. You leave on one little like vest of something just in case.
No, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm very
I'm
excited.
I want this to be good, man. I want it to be good.
I believe it will.